Hello, my name is Christina. I've been a registered lawyer for over 7 years now, and over the last 4, I've been helping immigrants relocate to Spain and also ask for Spanish citizenship. So today I'm going to go over the few ways that you have to access Spanish citizenship and the most usual questions that we get about this. So stay tuned if you want to learn more. These 4 years that I've been helping foreigners relocate to Spain, I've gotten a lot of questions about how can I apply for Spanish citizenship, not only because of the food, the weather, or people, but because Spanish passport is a European passport that allows you to relocate wherever you want to within the Schengen area and reside and work there for as long as you want to, without the need to apply for anything additional. Okay, so there's 3 main routes to access Spanish citizenship. The first one is that the citizenship by origin. That means that you are considered originally Spanish. It only happens when one of your parents was Spanish at the time you were born, or if you and your parent were born in Spain, even if your parent is not holding Spanish citizenship. The second route to access Spanish citizenship would be citizenship by option. It means that you're not considered originally Spanish, but you have the option to access a Spanish citizenship without the need to reside here in Spain. In this scenario, you need to be under the guardianship of a Spaniard by adoption or by birth, or one of your parents needs to be Spanish and born in Spain. You do not need to be born in Spain or have held Spanish citizenship over your life. And the third option, which is the most used one, is when you are not falling under the criteria of one of the scenarios for option or origin. And it's called citizenship by residence. In this case, you have to reside for a number of years in Spain before being able to apply for Spanish citizenship. And there's a few different scenarios and number of years that you need to reside. So the first option is residing 1 year in Spain. When can you apply after 1 year? When you are married to Spanish national, or you're the widow or widower of Spanish national and you have resided here for over a year, you can apply for Spanish citizenship. Other scenarios where you could have access to Spanish citizenship by option, the second route that I mentioned, but you didn't do so before becoming of age, which in Spain means 18 years old. Another scenario where you can apply after 1 year is if one of your parents or grandparents was born in Spain, and you can show that. And the other scenario where you can apply for this is if you were born in Spain, but you never applied for Spanish citizenship and none of your parents were Spanish or born in Spain. You can show that you register your birth in Spain. The second term to apply for this is 2 years. This is a scenario that it's dedicated to countries that have some kind of special relationship to Spain. So you can apply after 2 years of residence. If you come from an Ibero-American country, we can provide you with a list of countries that are considered Ibero-American for this purpose, and also some other countries such as Andorra, Equatorial Guinea, France, Portugal, etc. The other scenario where you can apply after 2 years, if you can show you have Sephardic origins in your family. The third scenario is 5 years, but this is only for refugees, and 10 years is the general term. So if you do not fall under any of the other categories that I discussed, and you just can reside here legally and continuously for 10 years, and then you can apply for Spanish citizenship. Okay, so I'm now going to address one of the questions that we get the most. Can I apply for citizenship if I have any family member that is Spanish? It's only if your parents or grandparents are Spanish, aunts, nieces, nephews, children. They will not give you access to Spanish citizenship, nor great-grandparents, which is one of the scenarios that we get a lot. So remember, just parents and grandparents can give you the right to access Spanish citizenship through one of the routes that I mentioned. One of the other questions that we get a lot is, what about this democratic memory law? Grandchildren law is known to be called like that. It's the Memoria Democrática. We had high expectations for this law, we have to say, but in the end, the scenarios that it contemplates are really, really reduced in some sense, because you have to show that your parents or grandparents were refugees or they were in exile outside of Spain because of their religion, their sexual orientation. They fled Spain in some sense. And then you have to prove it documentary. So it doesn't happen a lot that you're fleeing a country and you leave a document trail after you. So it's hard to find documentation enough to sustain this. The other scenario is if your mother lost her Spanish citizenship because she got married to a foreigner and their law forced them to lose their citizenship in favor of one of the husbands. And the third scenario is if your parents were not Spanish, but they accessed Spanish citizenship by option based on the law that was issued in 2007. So those are the only three scenarios that they are including for Spanish citizenship requests. And in the end, it's not a law that has made much easier for children or grandchildren of Spanish nationals to apply for citizenship. The third question that we get the most is what are the requirements? So I will go over some of the requirements and information about them. But if you want to learn more, just please contact us. So the first thing would be, what are the documentation that I'm going to have to obtain? We provide you with a very thorough list, but one of the things that is more important is that you have to know that you need to take some exams. You will need to take a language exam, unless you are a very American national who speaks Spanish as a first language, or you have studied in Spain a superior degree. And you will have also to take a culture and society exam, unless you have, again, had some studies, superior studies or degrees in Spain. The duration of the validity of these exams, if you took the language exam after 2008, it's going to be valid forever. The cultural society one is only be valid for 4 years because it's understood that we will change as a society in 4 years. Other questions about requirements, about absences. You're not supposed to leave within 1 to 5 or 10 years of legal residence. Those are the scenarios that we discussed. You cannot leave Spain for more than 3 months in a row. It doesn't mean that you cannot leave Spain at all over the duration of these terms, but you should not leave Spain for more than 3 months in a row, and you should have the less number of absences possible. Some of the other questions that we get a lot is, how long will it take for me to get the passport? I want you to know that it's not immediate. So after residing 1 or 2 or 10 years, you can apply for citizenship, but you will not immediately obtain the passport. We need to submit the application before the Ministry of Justice, and they will have 1 year to decide and assess the documentation of your case, request additional documentation if they want to. So we are seeing an average resolution time between 10 and 16 months. That means that over that time, we do recommend that you still reside in Spain and you have to renew any residence permit that you have until you get the registration of the civil registry of the obtention of your Spanish citizenship. So it means that maybe 1 or 2 years will pass before you get the passport since the time we are able to submit your application. The last thing that I want to discuss is how can Lexidy help me? Well, we send you a very thorough list of all documentation that you will need to prepare and gather. We inform you if they need to be apostille legalized, if they need to be sworn translated into Spanish. We review every document that you send just to make sure that it complies with what the Ministry of Justice will want to see. We also study your case to propose the best of the routes that I've discussed, option, origin, or residence. And we are at your beck and call. We discuss every step of the way with you. We submit the application on your behalf. We follow up with that application until we get a resolution. So we are hand by hand with you throughout the whole process. So thank you very much for listening. I hope we can help you with your dream of becoming Spanish national, and please do not hesitate to contact Lexidy for this. So if you want to know more about how to apply for Spanish citizenship, you just have to check our website. There's a form that you can fill and we will contact you for free. If you want to know more about this, just read the description and you will find the link there. Thank you very much for listening.